Let's don't let a good thing die. Oh, my sister. I think this song is dating me a little bit. All I know is it is 6:32. It is May 21st. Hope everyone's feeling well. My name is Scott Redler. I am the Chief Strategic Officer of T3Live.com. I'm also the founder of T3, and I'm also the founder of Red Dog Mindset. I'm also on the board of the Ed Foundation and the Rec Commission. And Jesus, I'm busy. Anyway, I was also out last night for my friend's 50th, so I'm a little tired. But guess what? If you go out with the boys, you wake up like a man and got to get ready for the day. And today there's going to be some volatility. I will say yesterday felt as if something was changing. That Monday we had this big gap down, and everyone thought that the market was going to change, and then all of a sudden, the market went from red to green. A lot of things held in there, kind of gave the bulls the first real false sense of security, and then I think the bears just that faded the move, thinking we were going to break, got squeezed, and it felt like a changing of the guard where finally, it was just too easy for the longs. But anyway, with that being said, futures down like 45 handles. People be like, Red Dog, why? Rates, obviously. Rates are a problem right now. The TLT, which went below 85 and came back above it or back below it. I think the 10 years above 5. And every time you get to new thresholds, the computers get a little upset, besides a massive move that we've seen. So hopefully you have some hedges on. I have some premium sold. I have some puts on. I reduced a few things, so I'm coming a little bit more flexible. As if you look up here, it kind of felt a little odd to me. So anyway, this is the S&P cash. You have this big rising channel, which we've been riding, right? And it's been great, and the sequence has been strong, and there's been some leaders. So the question is, does this change? So if you trade the S&P cash, 58.95 is a spot. I think we're testing it right now. We get below the 8-day. We've been above this 8-day moving average for quite some time. They tried to break it right here. It went below, and they couldn't. Tried here, it couldn't. So we're going to see what happens here between 58.95 and 58.65. Does this hold or not? If it doesn't hold, then, hey, this changes. And then we maybe get a pullback to 57.86, which is the Geneva gap up. Here's your 21-day. And you have to go through market discovery. So we'll see. Maybe they hold them today. I don't know. We'll multiple plans. This is the SPYs. The SPYs is very similar. 588.12 is the low from Monday. We're already below yesterday's low. 585 is the low from last week. The 8-day is right around here. So this is a big spot. Again, we're always at a big spot. I feel like every day is a big spot. But anyway, here's the SPYs. We're down, not a whole lot. Europe wasn't down so much. China was up a bit. So we'll see what today brings. This is your spot. If you're overhedged, like right now, like what I'll do is I'll sell a third of my puts. I'll cover some of the premium, and then I'll see if some of the leaders act like leaders and go green like they did on Monday. Same playbook. But sometimes if you go back to the well runs dry, my doggies. So anyway, here's the Qs. Qs, you have 514-ish, 514.25, and then this is 510-ish. I don't know where I came up with 510. Really, this is down here. This is 508.42. So let's put that in there, 508.42. So anyway, that's where I would focus. If you remember, I showed you guys the TLTs, which is another key. The reason why we were able to reverse on Monday is because the TLTs, let's go back to show you where this is, wound up. This is 82.42, by the way, got below and came back above. So this spot's going to be something that's going to be a key. It's already below it. Like the TLTs right now, if you go to the TLTs, are right here, down 76 cents. Are we going to be able to absorb this again? Now we're below 84.89. We're below 85, and we're below 84.83. So that's not good. That means the 10-year is probably 5-something. Can we absorb it? We shall see. UNH Guardian reports UNH secretly paid nurses' homes bonuses to cut hospital transfers. Anyway, I think some shorts are caught there. So we'll see. Let's get the cues up here too. So this should be front and center. This will be one of my screens. I have usually like 7 of these. Like this is so everyone's like, Red, what are your screens like? Well, I have, this will be there. And you know what? Maybe even the IWM will come on there. The IWM's been acting a little bit better. So, typically I'd rather watch this and the leaders and listen to the idiots on CNBC. Not all idiots. A lot of them are my friends. And I'm on Fox Business once every few weeks. So there are some people that, add value. But, what could add the most value is you having your levels, having multiple plans, sitting in your routine, getting your process together and figuring it out. So with that said, we'll see now what the leaders want to do. Who are the leaders right now? I'd say Tesla's kind of a leader, not the leader, but it's been a focus. Little red dog reversal where it got above 351, couldn't hold it. So now see if it holds 341. If Tesla can't hold 341, it probably will be a little trickier and needs more time. But then all of a sudden it still has 334 and it's still above the 8-day. So this is something. And Tesla's not down a whole lot right now. Tesla actually is right here. It's up 20 cents. So Tesla's showing some relative strength pre-market, and so is Google. Google's up 18 cents. So you have the Q's down 430. You have the SPYs down 450, and both of these are a little green. So watch that. But if this breaks 588 and this breaks 515, it's going to be hard for these things to hold up. So we'll see what helps with what. Google got 2 upgrades from its big, presentation yesterday. I thought the presentation was great. I think Google's something we're going to have to watch now to see if we do pull in over the course of the next week or so. How does Google hang here, and then does it maybe get some flows? For now, does Google hold this, 162-ish? We'll see. I just showed you with Tesla. Does Tesla hold 341-ish? Otherwise, there's room below. So those are 2 thoughts. Apple's been acting poorly. I got stopped out earlier in the week. Does Apple hold 204 or not? Where's Apple right now? Let's see. Apple is, above that. Apple's not down a whole lot. Sometimes in a day like today too, you want to go with the stocks that have the buybacks that could help if you think you'd rather play a red to green type move. And then Microsoft's been absolutely fantastic. It's down 373. Microsoft, look how nice that is. It's been above the 8-day for a long time. So that's something to look at. There are guys who are in from the pro earnings gap right here. There are some who say, hey, I'm going to move my stop up to 448. You could do that. So I would look to this if you've been trading Microsoft. I might look at it today too. Netflix, can't go wrong there either. Look how tight that is. A lot of these things have been trending really well. If you've been following me for a bunch of years, I'm a big advocate of the 8 and 21 day. It's been above the 8 and 21 day pretty much since it broke above 988 and 1064, and there's been a bunch of setups. So see how that goes. But just again, you want to change when the trade changes, and it hasn't really changed yet. Nvidia, I'm long some. We'll see. Does 131.60 hold? You have a nice little bull flag here. Can that continue? Nvidia's only down $1.48, not so bad. 131.60. It's not even. This is 132.60. So that's a little micro spot. So we'll see if Nvidia could hold. If Nvidia could hold, I think that would be, decent for the semis, and that means maybe tech holds in there. If not, the 8 days moving up, so that would be next. Earnings are next week. If you think earnings are finally going to be enough of a catalyst on the 28th into this weakness, you start accumulating little calls for the earnings date. Good way to do it too, where risk is premium paid. Somebody told me to look at SMCI today. They came out with some news. They're expanding like a facility because they say AI demand is really strong. Okay, this is a tough name, but it did give you a big gap up. It's trying to protect it, so maybe it's worth a look today. So that's just a one-off thought by the Red Dog. What else? Palantir has been strong. I am long a little bit of that, so we'll see what happens here. Palantir. You have a low of 124.32. If this breaks 124-ish, you have to be careful. Yesterday, they shook things up with Uber and Dash, 2 of my positions. People said, Musk came out and said that, all of a sudden you're going to be able to take a Tesla and let it go out to work in the middle of the night while you're sleeping. So that might take away some work from Uber. how realistic is that? I don't know. But anyway, I did, into this strength, I took off my shares and I'm just in options for now, just in case the market goes into a corrective phase. But overall, this has been great. A lot of guys in my community made a lot of money and they reduced. So now make sure it holds the 8-day. It's been above this 8-day pretty much this entire trend. So what would change here? I'd say, it breaks below 89 and a quarter. Maybe you have to be a little bit more careful. Dash has been unbelievable, looking really good. It was, I bought options and I'm trading around it. I just keep trying to buy it, but it's hard to buy strength in Dash. It's not like a momentum name like that. Anyway, what's Dash doing this morning? Dash probably down 4, down 377. Oh no, it's only down 255. All right. Well, anyway, so we'll see if Dash continues to hold the 8-day if you want to move your stop up. Crypto's been really good. It's just having a little bit of a hard time breaking out above this highs here. I've been buying a dip pretty much since 86,000 and it's working. So we'll see how that goes today. Today, still hanging in there. It's not a big deal. Some people are like, hey, a red dog reversal last night. Yeah, a little red dog reversal. I hear you. I smell you. We'll see how that goes. It's been trending really nicely. Lot of currency stuff going on. The dollar's weaker. You have things going on in Japan with rates. By the way, Japan's just normalizing. I know they're 3% or whatever the hell they're doing there, but the bottom line is, just like we couldn't stay at 1% like we did from 2019 to 2021, and we had to jump back to 3%. You can't be down there. It's the free money everywhere. It leads to inflation, and it's not good. So anyway, for now, as long as Bitcoin continues to hold, what should it hold now? I wouldn't want to see it go much below this 104-ish. If it's going to take out that area, it might need a little bit of time. We'll see. I'm in IBIT. I'm also in a little MSTU. Let's see what some of my doggies have to say around the world. Everybody's okay. Let's see. Jack, good morning. IBIT. Yeah, IBIT. What's it down? 50 cents or more? It's down 45 cents. Not the end of the world. Anyway, we'll see if we could buy a dip and continue to go. What does Toffer say? I've heard conflicting reports about FSD, and Musk is traditionally overly optimistic. Okay, so maybe you want to short it. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it holds in there today. How would you play snow? I haven't really been playing snow. Usually I make a snowman or I do some angels. No, I mean snow the stock. It's actually hanging in there. I haven't really played it during this sequence. It's a nice bull flag, just like everything else. Does this hold? Make some sense. What's it doing? Whereas Snowflake, it's down $1.60. So I would say as long as it holds this spot and goes sideways, software is kind of acting better. Thoughts on QBTS? It's been a monster. Hopefully you made some money. It's good to see an individual name be a monster. So this way, if you have really good stock selection skills, this is one of them. But the other ones aren't really doing it. Like if you're playing the other ones, like I tried IONQ the other day, not really working. But this has been great. I had this here. You remember this active sequence? That was awesome. I played it a little bit. I got away from it, which isn't great. QBTS major week. Okay. By the way, I'm not talking to myself. Some people are like, Red Dog, do you talk to yourself during the 6:30 Club? I don't talk to myself. I do a bit of a presentation, and then I talk to some of my dogs around the world. And there they all are. Thoughts on ZS? I haven't really looked at ZS in a while. If you're on YouTube or Twitter, you could talk to me. Talk to me, Goose. Oh, wow. That's been friggin' trending. Last time I listed this for you guys was at 218. And look at that. Red Dog's 8-day moving average is the roadmap. This gap got filled. Looks good. What's it doing this morning? Let's see what CS doing this morning. It's down 313, 247. So depending on how active you are, all these things have upper levels. The question is, do they hold the upper levels? Let's see. Someone said, what about WRD's numbers? I didn't really see it. I see that it's up a little bit. It's just this stock is just something's wrong here. It's up 37 cents. That's pretty good in a sea of red. I would trim some. For some reason they keep coming out with more and more and more and more deals, and there's no traction here. I just don't understand what's going on. Nvidia's got a little piece, so obviously they did their due diligence. It's not a fraud company. I don't know. All I know is I'm long a little bit. I did take it into earnings because the options were. I just figured, it's kind of like a call option anyway. So see if it holds 770. Same thing with this bull. Everyone's saying, Red Dog, you got to buy bull, 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 bull. Meanwhile, for some reason the sellers everywhere. Everyone loves this platform. Everyone's like, Red Dog, the platform is fantastic. I'm like, okay, I guess that's this. But for some reason there's somebody in there with old stock, whatever it was, and trying to get out, and people are trying to hold it down. I would just say have some options for earnings and see, this is up a little bit. This is also up a little bit. So, hey, maybe it pushes. I don't know. But these are two like idiosyncratic, whatever you want to say, off the bean cuff stocks that I'm in. CRWV has been a monster, but getting a little frothy up here, so be careful. A lot of points. This was a buy when it got through the post IPO high. It was a buy, and now I would just say, if you're in it for the next 10 years, just manage your size, et cetera, et cetera. And at this point, again, I'm going to see if Tesla could hold up. I have a little TSLL on or not. I'm going to see if Google could hold up. 2 upgrades. Maybe it hangs in there. I'm going to see if the SPYs can hold 588 if it can. Business as usual. If it doesn't, there's some room below. I'm going to sell a little bit of the puts, cover some of the premium sold, and see what can go red to green, etc. CEP was mentioned in the VTF. Okay. Look at that. Cantor Equity Partners. It's a nice chart, nice move. What's it doing this morning? Hanging in there. Yeah, listen, there are a lot of names out there that don't have to be Google, that don't have to be Tesla, don't have to be Palantir, that don't have to be NVIDIA. That if you do your homework and you do the fundamentals and the charts, look good, and you know how to navigate your tier system, you can make it work and make some money. All right, guys, thanks for tuning in. Today is Wednesday. You have a Memorial Day weekend coming up. Hopefully, you have some great plans. I will not be at my desk on Friday. We don't do a 6:30 club anyway on Fridays. And I probably won't be at my desk on Tuesday. So no Red Dog on Friday or Tuesday. I'm going to the Bahamas with a bunch of families, and then I'm going to Miami for the Vicarious fashion show, where the mindset meets the runway, and going to do Red Dog mindset and speak and do some interviews. And I put some footage up. The last one I did in New York City. This one's in Miami. So if you're in Miami and you want to come, email me, scottredler21@gmail.com. It's going to be a great event. I'll post the link. I'm going there Sunday for a wellness event, and then the fashion show is Monday, and see how it goes. But for today, we'll see, do we hold or not? Manage your positions, manage your expectations, and smile. Every day above ground is a good day, my doggies. I'll see you later.